Welcome, everybody. Don Giannetti, lighting-essentials.com and project52prosystem.com. I read something this morning on the internet. It made me pause for a second and relive a moment or two back in my day. Like, yeah, back in my day, we didn't let them dinosaurs roam up and around like all them kids do now. But I don't know, this was early 80s, mid 80s, something like that. And what I read today was a photographer was having trouble with a shoot. The people that she was shooting for were not impressed by the photos, and she was very upset about that. She thought they should be oohing and awing over the photos. And there's a lot of questions that have to be answered. Find out why they were not interested in the photographs, but that's not for me to say. I didn't see any of the photographs, so I have no idea. But I do remember something that happened to me, and it was interesting. It was really, really interesting. I had spent a couple of weeks putting together a print portfolio, spent a lot of money on it, had a lot of ads laminated at a place in New York that had plastic with felt on the back, and it was, well, it was early 80s, and it was $16 a piece, so dollars to dollars, it'd be about $40 or more for each picture, plus the cost of the print. I put a lot of money into it, Brewer Cantelmo case with my name embossed on it, and I was out to move from graphic designers who I was working mostly with. I wanted to get into the ad agency work. And I took my work up to an agency. It really screwed my courage up real tight. I was ready to go, you know. It's like, oh, man. And I sat in the waiting room for 15 minutes past my appointment time, and I just sat there, and he finally came out, oh, I'm sorry, let me take a look at your book. I don't have to say this is pre-internet, do I? Oh, good. I'm a little worried there. So we went back to his little cubicle, and he set the book down, and I'm standing in there cubicle, and I'm looking around at the work on the wall, and my stomach is just falling because I think, man, I'm not ready. So he does this, literally. And he goes back to work. Didn't say you're dismissed, get out of here, or anything. He just went back to work. And I kind of stood there for probably a couple seconds too long, and I took my book and I kind of backed out, expecting him to say, you know, thanks or anything, and he didn't, and I just sort of walked away. I would never do that today. I'm too full of spit and fire to do that today. Someone treated me like that today, they'd probably regret it. Probably so would I. I'm being honest. I can't lie. I'd probably regret what happened too. But anyway, I got out in the car and I sat there for a minute, and all that confidence I'd really worked on, you know, all that confidence, I was just ready to go, man. That confidence just took a hike. And I'm sitting in the car wondering, what the hell was that? It wasn't my first big ad agency, but it was my first really larger ad agency here in Phoenix, which ain't very big. But hey, in those days, you know, we had what we had. So I went back to the studio, and I opened up my book, and I sat there and I looked at it page to page to page. And I realized kind of suddenly that he was right. My book was full of stuff that I thought he wanted to see instead of stuff that I wanted to do. This was a long time ago, before I learned the right ways, but this was one of those moments. I thought, you know, well, they want to see product in my book, so I'll shoot a toaster, and I'll shoot a popcorn maker, and I'll do this kind of stuff, and I'll make it look just like the stuff they've got already. So that was technical. I mean, shooting a popcorn maker isn't creative, it's technical. And I spent a whole crap load of money, a pickup truck full of money on buying 8x10 film and 4x5 film, 8x10 Polaroid, on and on. But I made pictures that I thought he wanted to see. In other words, I gave him a portfolio full of the crap that he has to do so he can do the cool stuff. And I delivered it as if it was the cool stuff. But it wasn't the cool stuff. It was the crap we all have to do. I learned a lot that afternoon, that evening. I didn't sleep that night. Totally realized that I had to change up what I had and make images that the ones that I really liked, my pictures. And it took me a while to do that. I mean, I had some, been working for a while. I was pretty solidly working 4 days a week anyway. And I thought, man, I got to figure out how to do this. I got to, figure out this game. And I figured out at some point that it's really not a game. You just have to be true to yourself and true to the work you're doing. And I know that sounds so hokey and stuff, but it's not. It's not. You have to make your photographs your way, and you'll find clients who like that. That's a really tough one, to look at your portfolio and realize that the reason he didn't think your pictures weren't good enough is because your pictures weren't good enough. And you thought they were. That's scary, isn't it? I delivered a job once to an art director in LA. Now, when I was in LA, I was shooting mostly people in fashion, not very much tabletop and product, mostly people in fashion. And I got this really, really cool job from, I want to say Nordstrom's, but I don't know if it was Nordstrom's. LA 85, what the hell was it? Anyway, point of purchase prints for the end racks at this big department store. May have been Macy's, LA Macy's. And they were going to be huge. So the first thing I do is I think of format. Well, I'm not going to shoot it on 4x5 because it's too slow, putting the film holders in, etc. I'm not going to do it on 35 because I really want my finesse to show through these big things. So I'm going to shoot it on 2 1/4, 2 3/4, 6x7. And I had everything all planned out, right down to hiring the crew. We had two of the best models in LA came in from LA Models. And we had one of the best makeup artists, best prop persons there. The art director came down, saw everything, saw a few Polaroids, said, "This is great," and left. And her assistant stayed. And we shot 4 shots, makeup shots, for these end caps in about 4 hours. Next day, I picked up the snip tests. They looked great, ran the film, picked up the film, took it to the art director, walked in, put it down on the art director's light table, and I was just smiling from here to here because I nailed it. They were just killer chromes. And she picked up the loop and looked through it. She's quiet. She says, "Well, you're a little sloppy on the lighting." And that's when, your whole world, that world that you have in your head, it kind of goes, and you think, what? Well, I'd use clamshell lighting, 2 umbrellas. And the top point of the umbrella was coming down just a little catty corner, and the bottom point of the umbrella was just a little catty corner over here. We're talking about the reflections in the eyes of the model. Because when these things were blown up, those eyes were going to be about that big. You can be able to see those umbrellas. she said, you know, I don't know if anyone will notice it. I think this is really nice work. And then she, you know, said thanks and everything, and I left, and I was feeling about like this big, like I'd have to climb down each escalator step with a, you know, pulley. But I never made that mistake again. If I set up clamshell, by God, that thing is absolutely even. Absolutely even. The reason she didn't go, oh, Holly, wild over my images was they weren't perfect. They weren't as perfect as she wanted them, and she knew they weren't as perfect as I wanted them to be. Sometimes it's because we don't live up to the expectations of our clients that they don't get all excited about the work. But anyway, I hope this girl had a, you know, a nice outcome. I did. They hired me again, so can't beat that. And it was a lot of fun doing that job. A lot of fun. Sometimes we just have to work harder on our craft, make it better and better and better. I'll see you next time.